Hello, friends, and happy Friday. How is everyone doing this evening? It's good to see I've got some good friends already assembled there in the chat. I see my buddy Tim Fournier. John Amadon was in earlier. There's Papa Bear. Good to see you, Papa Bear. Big Dave. Always good to see you, Dave. Jeffrey Feinberg. Bona Piper. Hello to you both. I hope you're having a great Friday and your weekend is off to a great start, as mine surely could be. Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. How you doing, buddy? I have, of course, as is the tradition, I've got some Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday 7 alley. Quite enjoying it. Just lit it about 2 minutes ago. So, Gordy, hello, Gordy. Thank you. Yes, please do hit the like button. It helps get the message out. And there's Michael Case in front of a fan. I understand that, Michael. It's hot here too. Tall iced tea, very nice. George Tiedemann, good to see you, George. I've been practicing all week, Tim. Hot and humid for you too, Big Dave. I know, I know. Couch, couch. Oh my goodness, couch. You know what? Forgive me for this, folks. I'm going to halt the show for a moment and I will be right back. Don't go away. Apologies. I hope that didn't disrupt things too much, but I see I'm still up to date on the chat. Pretty much couch. Caught Ilva twerking on the lawn in the backyard today. My goodness. And where's the dang shirt? Well, couch, that's why I had to actually halt the show because I had it sitting at the top of the stairs waiting to come down here and I completely forgot to pick it up. But here is the shirt, and I am very proud to have this shirt. I can't wait to wear it. The fact is, I'm still just a little bit too much of a fat ass to wear it. And even if I was wearing it, you wouldn't be able to see it in all its glory anyway. Yeah, it's just a little snug, and it feels like I'm, I don't know, I feel like the Pillsbury Doughboy when I wear it. But there it is. That is my god dogter, Ilva, in all of her glory. And I love it, and I will wear it, couch, as soon as I lose the weight that I need to lose. So thank you for that, and thank you, Ilva. Love you dearly, girl. So there's the shirt. My apologies for forgetting to bring it down. I actually had it ready. As you can see, I had it ready. It is a beautiful shirt, and I can't wait to wear it because I'm very proud of Ilva. She's very special to me, and I'm looking forward to showing it off. I mean, in fact, even with it being tight, my wife's coming home. I'll explain more about that later. My wife's coming home tomorrow, and we're going to probably wind up going out to dinner a couple times. So I'm going to wear it when we go out. I got to take her out for her birthday because her birthday was last month. And we haven't been together because she's been in Pittsburgh. I think I'm going to take her to a nice restaurant, and I'm going to wear that shirt just because it's special. Pirate Frog 333. Good evening to you, Robbie. Good to see you. Patrick Grant. Gary Edminster, I think I already said hello to you, but I'll say hello again. And there's the Peterson House Pipe. Usual with a large 2XX. Nice. She is a cutie, isn't she, Dave? Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. How you doing there, Pepe? Good to see you, my friend. Pirate Frog's got some Orlick Golden Slice and a Cobb. Nice. Yes, I'm that guy at Walmart now, couch. And I'm happy about that, right? Tim, I'm typically a large. Like the shirt I'm wearing right now is a large, but that one just is a little snugger than it should be. And, you know, different shirts are different. Mushroom leg, hello to you, sir. You do have broad shoulders, Tim. That makes perfect sense. Glen Hill Briar, hello. How are we doing on causing all kinds of trouble here? Can't leave well enough alone. There we go. I probably just broke the stream, but we'll see. Uh, yeah, it's funny. I see folks saying XL, 2XL. You know, I lived for so long being well, being between 2XL and 3XL, to be honest. So I wanted to be comfortable. I had to be 3XL. And it took me so long to get down to large. I'm terrified of going to extra large. It's like, oh no, that means I'm going back. And it's stupid because, you know, your weight fluctuates and obviously you have to wear clothes that fit. But I'm kind of, it's like a matter of pride or something that I cannot order a XL shirt now, or else that'll be a sign that I'm falling back into my old ways. I know it's crazy, but nobody ever claimed I was sane. Oh, Tim, no, not a Rollins bent. No, that would be a bad thing. That would be a very bad thing. Uh, so had some trouble this week. Odd trouble. Got my oil changed last week. Went over, dropped the car off on Thursday night, and it was done, you know, Friday afternoon. I go to a shop that's just a couple blocks from here. It's in Monroe. It's a chain, but I know the guys have been going there for years, and the guy who's like the head mechanic there is really nice, really knowledgeable, and he's an older guy. He probably actually would know how to take apart a carburetor, which is a dying art for sure. And so you lost 5 pounds on day 6 of a diet, Mushroom Leg? Are you amputating things? That's a lot to lose in 6 days. Wow. So anyway, they've been doing my oil changes forever, ever since my warranty expired, so I don't have to cart it back to the dealer. And oh yeah, Tim, isn't that a great feeling? Back to the high school junior waist size. That is great, Tim. It's fantastic. So anyway, I pick up the car on Friday. Everything's fine. I drove it over the weekend. I went shopping and whatnot. Everything was fine. I went to work. I didn't go to work on Monday, but I went to work on Tuesday. I just worked from home on Monday. And drove home. Everything was fine. I drove out to our CSA and came back. And I remember when I parked on Tuesday night, I thought it was odd that there was so much, it was humid. And there was like a lot of water in the driveway. What I assumed was water from the air conditioning. So you know where this is going now. So on Wednesday, I had to take my dogs to the vet. The reason being is I'm going to Columbus this coming week, and my wife is not coming back from Pittsburgh. So I have to put the dogs in the kennel. And in order to do that, I have to get their shots updated. So I have to get the 2 dogs in the car, and I wrangle them in the car. And this isn't easy. They're not let's jump in the car and go dogs. This is an event in their lives. So where did I put my tampons up there? So I get them in the car and all that, and I go and I pull out and I drive to the vet. And we go into the vet, we do what we have to do, they get their shots, everything goes great, they get back in the car, and I'm driving home. It's about a 10-minute drive. And I'm just smelling what smells like burning oil. I'm like, this isn't good. Something's up. So I decide to get them into the house. So we get back from the vet, pull into the driveway, and I open up the garage door and take them in, and you know, they get settled and all that. And I say, I'm going to just drive over to Monroe and say, you know, something ain't right here. I just had the oil change. So they get calmed down. I get back in the car, and as I'm pulling out of the driveway, I realize I'm leaving about a foot-wide swath of oil in the driveway. So I thought, well, maybe they didn't put the plug back in or something. So it's only a couple blocks. I get it over there, and to make a long story a little bit less long, because I know I've gone on for quite a while now, um, they said they don't know what's wrong, but it's nothing they can fix. It's something internal. It's coming from, he cleaned it all up, and that's why I love this place, because they'll bring me in under the lift and they'll let me look and all that. He got all the exterior oil off. He refilled it, and it just came right back out again. Uh, it's running fine. It starts fine. It's not making any noise or anything, but it's coming from the top near the timing belt, and there's nothing obviously wrong. It's just all the oil's coming out. So he said, you can't drive it. You're lucky you got it here when you did, because it was like down to like that much on the dipstick, and the engine could have seized, which I knew that was a potential problem. It's a 14-year-old car, though. I wasn't going to have it towed 2 blocks. Anyway, so I had to get it towed to the dealer. And the dealer gets it, and they say, well, okay, we'll try to take a look at it. It's going to take about 4 weeks before we can look at it. Well, okay, I guess I'm waiting 4 weeks now. That's not the big problem, though. The big problem is we just had the sidewalks replaced. We just had a new concrete driveway installed. And my wife's going to kill me, because she's going to think I did it on purpose. So that's the problem. Big Dave, I hope you get this. Oh no, it's ice cream. Yeah, it's likely a seal. It's likely a main seal. Um, but it could be something a lot worse. Yeah, Tim, I'm not going to wear that shirt. Don't do that. See what you started, Couch? Pressure washer and degreaser. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, I'm kind of being lazy. I just thank you, Big Dave. I'm glad you got it. I am just it's one of my favorite jokes, by the way. A joke I can't repeat here. Uh, I just contacted a concrete cleaning service, and I'm gonna have them give me a quote, because I just don't want to. I just don't want to deal with it. I I could try like 5 or 6 different things that may or may not work. If they say they can get the stain out, you can stain the whole driveway. Piper said I actually thought about it when I first saw the damage, because it's pretty bad. I sent her pictures, so she's at least yeah, you're right, Couch, it was Ilva that started it. She's at least pre-exposed, and she knows it. And actually, what she said, I married a good woman. She pointed out that if it didn't happen in the driveway, because it's white concrete, I probably wouldn't have noticed it when I pulled out. And I might have been, anywhere, and the engine could have seized up on me. So she actually said, thank God it happened in the driveway, because you can't see it on the asphalt. It's only because I was backing out of that white drive that I noticed it. So she's a good woman. Yes. So there's Critics View. Hello. Good to see you. And Piper said it's good to see you as well. And I think I saw Ron Hardcracker in there. Good to see you, Ron, too. I already got, believe it or not, for reasons I do not understand, I hate cats, but for reasons I don't understand, I had half a bag of cat litter in my garage. And so I put that on the worst of it, and then I had sand, play sand. I don't know why I have that either, actually, but it's like sand that you would put in a kid's sandbox. I must have bought it for something. Anyway, I spread that on the rest of it. I know that's not the best thing to have on it, but and I swept most of it up yesterday, but it was still pretty oily in the main spot, so I just kind of put everything that I swept up back on that spot and spread it around. Yeah, penguin car, Big Dave. Yep. That penguin liked his ice cream. So yeah, it how am I getting to the pipe show? Isn't that a good question, Michael? Well, the wonderful woman that I married is going to be leaving Pittsburgh tomorrow morning to drive here, and then I am going to, on Wednesday morning, drive her back to Pittsburgh and drop her off, spend the day there, and on Thursday morning, I'm going to drive to Columbus. And the dogs are going to be kenneled that whole time, which is not ideal, but it's the best thing we could think of. You know, the fact is I need a car, and if it's going to be 4 weeks, we had to do this. She can use her mom's car, she can use her sister's car, so there's ways that she can get around, but I'm pretty much marooned here. Not really, but fortunately the shop was close enough to walk to. You know, Tim, it's a little bit of both. And cats show their hatred of me in a very particular way. Uh, I'll go into people's house that have cats, and the cat will come and like jump in my lap as soon as I sit down. And universally, what I hear is, "That's odd. They never do that. They usually hide when people come over." They know I'm allergic to them, and I'm very allergic to them. Like my eyes will swell shut. That's how bad the allergy is. Um, and they know it, and they come and they rub all over me. And Mushroom Leg is smoking 8 State Oriental Burley in a Castello. It says Burley on the label, but he don't hardly taste any. Is that is that because of the Orientals, Mushroom Leg? It is a road trip, Michael. Quite a road trip indeed. Good evening, Doug Owen. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, Big Dave, Uber is a possibility, but I don't know, for going grocery shopping and such, it's I know I can get things delivered, and this will work out okay. It'll be fine. Tim's going to half and half in his Astley Canadian. Nice stuff. Yeah, it's not that bad, Big Dave, but it's like just a little bit less than needing an EpiPen kind of a reaction. Uh, it doesn't happen immediately though. It takes me 3 or 4 hours before the thing builds up. So it is their idea of fun, Michael. It is. And I got to admit, I have had moments with cats that I've enjoyed. Um, I'll admit that. Like I go over to the pet store sometimes and they have the cat rescue, and I'll go and I'll like stick my finger in, and they'll come up and nuzzle my finger a little bit, and they're cute. I get it, but then you go to somebody's house with them and they like get their dander all over you, so you almost die, and then they just do evil things. They're evil. That's the bottom line. They're evil. I don't want an electric scooter, Big Dave. I'm I want a car. The Smooth Piper, how you doing there, Peter? I don't want anything electric. I I I don't want to be riding in something that can burn with the heat of 1,000 suns. Thanks, Christian. That's actually a pretty good idea. The baking soda would be a good idea there. And yeah, dishwashing liquid's obviously going to help with the oil. I think I'm just going to pay somebody more than I need to have them do the same thing. Oh man, Ron, I feel your pain there, buddy. I get it. Well, I tell you the worst part about it is I had to take the dogs to the vet for their checkup and their shots and everything, and my goodness, I had sticker shock walking out of that. I mean, that's what I would have expected to pay to get the seal replaced on the car. Now I'm going to get a Vespa, Big D. I don't want a scooter. Why do you want me on a scooter? I don't know if it requires a rebuild, Tim. I think if it's the front main seal, it doesn't. Uh, I don't know. I'll find out. I'll find out. And this is a real problem because I love this car. I really do. You know, it's 14 years old. I get it, but I really love this car. And I can't get another one like it. And the problem I have, stop dragging my car around. The problem I have is I really have to, I don't have to, but I enjoy driving a standard transmission. And I do not want to buy a car that's not a standard. I do not want to buy a car that shuts itself off at traffic lights, and I definitely don't want anything with a lithium battery in it. So, 78 Mustang. Wow, Christian. My dream car is a birth year Mustang. So I told my, so last night I was actually chatting with a couple of people. Couch was one of the folks I was chatting with, and Couch suggested I get a ridiculous car. Couch, I'll let you suggest it if you want to. And then I said, no, I'm going to go that far. I'm going to get my dream car, the 66 Mustang. So I sent a message to my wife and I said, Couch is trying to get me to, and she said, go ahead and do it. Well, I said, well, it was ridiculous. Well, maybe I should just get my 66 Mustang. Maybe it's time for that. She said, yeah, it could be. So she's in a good mood. Or she's just trying to keep me calm until she comes home to kill me for messing up her driveway. There's two problems, though, with the Mustang. One is that it's basically going to be a project, and the other is that it's not going to get me anywhere in the winter here. Yes, greasy ducks do. Not 9 out of 10 greasy ducks recommend Dawn dishwashing detergent for their I don't know how to finish that, but yes, Ron, they do like it. No, the first Mustang was 65, Tim. Before World War II. Are you making a joke about my age, Tim? Ha ha ha. There you go. Michael's got the answer for you, Tim. They did have Mustangs before World War II. I know, Christian, I know, but it's just funny. That was my first thought when I realized what had happened. 63 split window Corvette. Wow, Patrick. Sixty-four and a half. Was that weird Mustang thing where the prototypes came out, like they made like 50 prototypes or something, and they sold the year before or something like that? Yeah, Christian, I guess I do. Patrick's got some haunted bookshop in his Friday 7 alley. Nice. Could get one of those World War II Jeeps. You know, I almost bought a Willie. Willie Willis. I forget if it's Willie or Willis, but there was one for sale up in Vermont. This was when my dad was still alive. It was just sitting on. It was actually in the post office parking lot with the for sale signs all over it. They wanted like $2,000 for it, and it was ridiculous. It had all this. It was painted and everything, and on the side of it they had painted "Sweet Willie." So for like a year, I'd asked my dad if Sweet Willie was there, and I really considered buying it because it was pretty cool. Not the painting; it would get a paint job, obviously, but it had been through the war, not literally, but Mustang was your old CB radio handle. That's cool, Flino. That would be a problem, Doug. That would be a problem. Yes. That was the only year, Patrick. I wasn't aware of that, but I would explain why they're so rare. Chris Weber, good to see you, buddy. And Phil Rivera, good evening. Good to see you too. Cosmoline. Oh my goodness, Michael. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I translated it, Michael. I can barely make out the letters, so minor misspellings like that just get filtered out. Ah, Tim, I know what you mean. Hey, I'm drinkless right now. So, okay. I wanted to tell you about the car first so that I have an excuse for this. Smoking Said, did I miss you earlier, my friend? Good to see you, Said. Um, T-Bird, oh goodness. Uh, so I was going to go out and buy a more manly beer, but instead I'm having another orange creamsicle milkshake here. Let me get that poured. Go ahead, make fun of me. I bought 4 cans of this, and this is the third. Transfer hands. So I actually don't mind the orange creamsicle-iness. It's the hoppiness that I could live without. But it's an intriguing beer. It's kind of like the occasional bowl of Latakia for me. You know, it's not something I want all the time, but every once in a while, it's a palate cleanser. There we go. Palmyr, my hero. That must have been a beautiful car. Does that really exist, Phil? That's pretty cool. Beer by good humor, yes. Sheer beer, yeah, yeah. That's why the T-shirt's too tight. Oh, Gary, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. I've heard that as well, Ron. About the Mustang being a fairly economical project. Yeah, I just as much as I love the car. So the reason I like the car so much is not that I'm a huge Mustang fan or well, I kind of am a Ford guy, but it's that when I was very young, my aunt, her first car was a green. I believe it was either a six. I don't think it was a 65. It had to be a 66 Mustang. And I remember being like 3, 4 years old and helping her wash that car. And well, wasn't really doing very much, but she still lived at home with my grandmother, and I would spend a lot of time at my grandmother's house. So she would, you know, on the weekend she would go out and wash the car, and I'd carry the sponge or whatever, and she'd take me for rides in it and stuff. So I have like these really fond memories of that car. It's really the first car that I kind of fixated on. Uh, I don't know how old I was actually, now that I'm thinking of it. I had to be older than 3 or 4. It's probably around 6. Yeah. So those were good days. It was a lot of fun, and I just have always liked that car ever since then. Yes, Patrick, that Cavalier that Phil made is amazing. Is it a Cavalier, Phil? I'm starting to think it might be like a one of those what do they call them, tabletop pipes or something. I didn't see it finished yet. An amazing looking pipe Phil's been working on. What do you get when an ice cream truck collides with a beer truck? Ha ha, Tim. AUNT ant. Is that right? Mother sister ant. Ah, it's Cav. Okay. Oh, you got a video up. Cool. I'll have to watch that after we're done here. Simple to work on too. Yeah, Ron. That's one of the things I want in a car. You know, I figure I don't know if I'm going to buy another new car. I really don't know. Um, I'm just very unhappy with the direction cars have gone in, and this is me being an old man, you know, telling kids to get off my lawn and going both ways uphill to school and whatnot. But I just don't like all the computers and the. I don't like not knowing what's going on inside of a machine. That bothers me. I mean, even with my power tools, I'm like that. I won't buy something like a saw stop table saw simply because I don't really understand it that well. And there's things in there that I can't control. Now, maybe I could get in and figure it out and all, but you know, that's just the kind of guy I am. I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm not saying it's right. It's just so I just can't imagine buying one of the like my wife's car drives me nuts because it turns off when I stop at a stop sign or not at a red light. Um, you know, you can disable that. I make all these changes and then she gets mad at me. Uh, you know, it tells me that it's time to take a coffee break. I don't need a car telling me that it's time to take a coffee break. The weird thing is it will often tell me that after, like, I just had lunch. You know, I'm driving somewhere, I stop for lunch, and I get back in the car, I've got coffee. Like 10 minutes later, there's a bing sound and it says, time to take a coffee break. Go to hell, car. I'll be a good license plate, Big Dave. That would be nice. 94 Mustang. Yeah, I haven't really liked the modern ones as much. They're cool looking cars. I'm sure it was fun to drive Flint Hill, but it just doesn't do the same thing for me. Home got his first Peterson this week, and he's got some Hyde Park, which is a rum-soaked Virginia blend. Very nice. Bear Wolf and Miss Kathy. How you doing, Steve and Kathy? Tim is saying that AU makes an ooh sound. Ooh, ooh. I know, Tim. I grew up calling her my aunt, and that's what I say. Mr. Fournier. The car might just know I like coffee. That's a good point, Tim. It's hilarious. My wife doesn't drink coffee, but it tells her to stop for coffee. Potty break would make more sense, Gary. Yeah, I know it's becoming really common for the shutoffs, Patrick, and I just don't like it. Ma tante. There you go, Tim. I believe tante is German for aunt. Aunt, would that make you happier? It's a good point, Big Dave. I really wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, it's not a good thing for the engine. You say aunt to Flint Hill? Okay. See, Tim, Flint Hill's on my side. It just the shutting off thing bothers me because, and maybe I'm moving into tinfoil hat territory here, and I'm still being the old man walking both ways uphill to school. But if the car can turn itself off, that raises the distinct possibility that someone else can turn the car off. And yeah, with all the computerization, I don't know what the car is doing. I have enough trouble understanding what's going on in the operating system on the computer that I'm looking at right now. I'm never going to understand the 15 to 20 some computers that are in that car that are all locked down and inaccessible. And it might be possible that, for some reason I do something that's not exactly what I'm supposed to do and I don't drive anymore. Or maybe they decide that you only get to drive every other day now, or something like that. And I know I'm being a conspiracy nut right now, but that worries me. I like the idea of having a machine that I can control and that nobody else can, unless they take it from me and they can drive. So it's pronounced maton in French, Tim? Or is that Louisiana French, Cajun sort of French, or is that actual, honest to goodness, Frenchy French? Exactly, Tim. There might be a CrowdStrike upgrade that knocks out my car. Yeah, even in a used vehicle these days, it's become so common for so many years now that even used cars are coming with the bells and whistles, I guess. So I understand that, Bear Wolf, Miss Kathy. Tante in Afrikaans. Well, Afrikaans has a lot of German influence, doesn't it, Sid? Dutch German? Dutch and German, maybe? This is true, Tim. The CIA already is well aware of my shenanigans. Canadian. Okay. So does that make it Acadian? I'm sorry, Tim. I don't mean to beat you up over this, but I know you got some if I'm remembering right, you got some Louisiana roots. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I apologize if I got that wrong. Now that the more I'm thinking about it, I think I got that wrong. Ron's got Country Squire Green Dragon in his 1970s Caminetto KS102 business pipe with a margarita. Very nice. More like Creole. That's the word I was looking for. No, I had that word, Patrick. So that's more like, okay. Liberia speaks French. That's interesting. Acadian is northeast. Okay. Yeah, the whole AI thing is getting a little weird. I'm hoping that we've hit the top of the hype cycle, and we're either gonna see a plateau or crash. I don't know which, but I'm hoping it plateaus at least because it's getting a little. I saw an ad last night. Okay, I didn't technically see I saw somebody reviewing the ad and making fun of the product. So it wasn't purely just that I saw this ad. It was an attempt to ridicule the ad, but it was kind of ridiculous. There is a product called Friend, which is a necklace that has a little button on it, and it connects up to your phone, and there's an AI that exists on your phone and that listens to you through the necklace and that pays attention to everything you're doing. And, if you're in a situation that the AI thinks you might need support in, it'll send you a little message on your phone. And, like maybe you're in an argument, it might send you a message saying, you're getting into an argument. Why don't we head home or something like that? And I think that's what friends are for. I don't think we need fake friends to do that. And it's all just very scary. Stanley Smith, good to see you, buddy. You're never late. You're always right on time, as Patrick's pointing out. If you don't agree, it strangles you. Yeah, Phil, I'm really worried about that. Not that it literally will strangle you, but these things are far from perfect in their advice. And the fact is, sometimes, actually all the time, you want a friend, and I'm blessed to have many of them, that will tell you stuff you don't want to hear. That'll say, "Hey, you're being an idiot right now," or "Why don't you cut that out? You're going to hurt yourself." That's what a friend needs to do. Um, oh, Tim, I'm proud to be your friend, buddy. And you don't need a necklace for that. Yeah, it's kind of like the AI version of "I've fallen and I can't get up," Big Dave. But this might tell you, just lay there, it's okay. And that's what worries me. I think a friend has to be rough sometimes, has to has to say things you're not going to want to hear, and the AI is not going to do that. Thank you, Gary. My tinfoil hat's actually quite worn out, so I might need to take you up on that. Well, there's that side of it too, Ron. There certainly are friends that would get me into more trouble than I'm already in. But I think when push comes to shove, most of them would. I One really funny story. I was engaged to a woman who's not my wife. Well, before I met my wife, it would be weird if I was engaged to her after. Anyway, this is back when I was in college. I was engaged to this woman, and I was I was gonna marry her, and later I found out that she was like, seeing other guys, and just this whole mess, and um, I found out, and it just was a big blow up and all that, and um, so I was pretty upset about this, and I had a couple of close friends, and each one of them I said, this happened, and they said, yeah, we were wondering when you were gonna figure that out. Well, that's the kind of thing you're supposed to tell me. So that was the one case where it just didn't work. It was universally. They were, oh yeah, it's a good thing that happened because it was just a matter of time, or we knew that was going on. And John's pipe journey. Hey, good to see you, buddy. Run around Sue indeed, Phil. Yeah. And it's funny thinking back on that, and I'm changing the topic away from AI now, but you know, I can remember clearly what that felt like. Just thinking that the sun's not going to come up tomorrow. This is the end of the world. Um, because when you trust someone that much and you find out that they've been that bad, and you loved them, you had the rest of your life planned with them, and you find out that you know they weren't even taking that seriously, it hurts. And I can remember feeling just really, really like the end was that was the end. And I look back on it now, and it's just kind of like that happened. It stinks that it happened, but thank goodness it did because what could have been. And it's just kind of funny to be able to have those years of distance and look back on something and then you see people that are going through something like that, and you wish you could give them that wisdom that it's not, it really is going to be okay. But you missed the last live, John. Well, you didn't miss much. I don't remember exactly what we did, but you didn't miss much. If the watch tells time, Tim, I've got a watch like that, and I like it a lot. I had a Samsung watch for a while. It broke, and I'm never going to get another one. Um, my favorite watch, it's I got to get it fixed. It just has started to not tell time anymore, and I'll get that one fixed. It makes me happy. It's got the right hands on it, and I can see what time it is when I look at it. Mary Hill down in Cherry Hill Park. I don't get the reference there, Phil. Gordy, good to see you, buddy. Oh, Big Dave, you wouldn't want to read a book about my life. An escape indeed, Michael. That's a good way to look at it. So we're done with the haunted bookshop, and it is August 2nd. So you know what that means. I actually have a thing for the Cure mushroom leg, but it has nothing to do with that. I think. Oh, should I talk about it? You're gonna just completely change your opinion of me. I think the Cure put out some fantastic music. I really do, and I'll just leave it at that. Good deal, Tim. Good deal. Phil's in a musical mood tonight. Time won't give me time. Oh my goodness. So we got to pick a new tobacco of the month, and it's going to be a strange month because I'm going out to Columbus and all that. So I'm not going to have as much time to spend with the blend as I would like, but we'll do it. We'll do it anyway. So we're going to have. I got three jars tonight. I decided to go with jars, and Great albums indeed, Mushroom Leg. They did have some great songs, and the style of it, I like the style of songwriting. This is actually something that I've a couple of times after the show ended, I thought I should talk about. You know, there's a style of songwriting. I think of it in the same way that I think of Hemingway's prose. Maybe I did talk about this once. It's starting to feel familiar, but you get just enough of a story that it puts a movie in your head. You know, you imagine the scene, you imagine the story, you have to fill in a lot of it. You wish the song would go on longer. And they were masterful at that. You know, just like Heaven is probably my favorite, and that song, I have no idea what it's about. Every time I hear it, I'm imagining a different story, and it's beautiful. You know, it's a really beautiful song. Uh, and I can compare that to other songs that are often held up as being, you know, these masterpieces of writing, and they're just not. They're telling a story just line by line by line, and you're getting everything, and you don't. There's no room for imagination. It's just all getting shoved onto you. So I prefer the more Hemingway style of songwriting. Love Song is another great one for sure, Patrick. Aerosmith has retired from touring. Well, given the last time I saw, what's his name? Steven, what's his name? I think it's probably a good thing that he's retired from touring. But I don't know what they put on the Crow soundtrack, Tim. I don't remember which one that was. But anyway, let's do the tobacco of the month. I will show you the three tobaccos. Don't vote until we get, because I can't count them, and I've already had half a can at 10% beer. So I can't even read this. Oh, they actually did it mid-tour, Patrick. Oh, that's unfortunate. Tyler, yes, Steven Tyler. I hope they're okay. That's not a health issue. Okay, so number one, again, please do not vote until you see all three. Number one is some Cornell and Deal Dreams of Kadath from 2001. This is a cake. If you choose that one, I'm going to have to find a knife. Number two is from March of 2022. This is Newminster Superior Round Slices. And maybe you can kind of see what that looks like. It's the benefit of jars. You can actually see the tobacco. Unlike those tins. And number three, making its second appearance 2 months in a row, for reasons, is some Cornell and Deal Shandygaff from 2015. And everybody knows what Shandygaff looks like. So, Dreams of Kadath is one. Newminster Superior Round Slices is two. Shandygaff is three. Let the voting begin. The 10% makes the creamsicle beer worthwhile. Yes. We got to vote for number two. Two for two. We got a one. We got a three. We got three for two. Four for two. Five for two. Two for one. Two for three. There's another one. Another three. Another three. So I believe that two and three are now tied. Another three. Use the pants on one. I believe that 3 is leading by 1 now. Tim's not voting for 1 even though he's had it and it's good. Okay. It looks like it's going to be 3. I'll give it a few more seconds here. And at this point, I have forgotten what the numbers mean. I got them in order on the desk, so it's okay. But I can't wait to find out what I'm going to smoke. All right, looks like the votes are in. So it looks like number 3 is the winner. I'm just going to go back and make sure of that. So no more votes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, 5. I was worried about that. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Tim voted for number 2, so that definitely pushes it over. I think it's 6 votes for 2 and 4 votes for 3. So it is number 2. Number 2 is the Newminster round slices. Okay. Shanigaff? I don't remember his pronunciation, Doug, but I'm sure that was unique. He had that great great accent. All right, so we got number 2, which is the Newminster Superior Round Slices. I know nothing about this. I bought it back in 2022. It's only a 1 ounce sample, and I think I put it in. I don't think I smoked it. I think I just put it in the jar. I honestly don't remember. So let's open it up and see what we got here. It looks just superficially like oh, that's nice. Yeah, little coins, like a Scudo style or luxury bullseye flake style little coins. The smell, I mean, this is going to sound funny, but it reminds me of going into the tobacconist and opening up the jars of various non-aromatic blends. Definitely Perique, Virginia Perique, I believe. I shouldn't say that so definitely because I don't know. All right, so these are these little coins I'm going to have to kind of do a curl up on. They're not very moist, so it shouldn't be a problem. They're just about the right moisture content. There's definitely got some black Cavendish in it. I'm guessing from the jar note that it's got some Perique in it. So that's my guess. This is a Virginia Perique with a little bit of burley, which is a pretty safe bet, isn't it? I saw somebody say they're still in their first pipe. And that reminds me that I am going to the Columbus show. I'll be there Thursday night, early Friday. If anybody's going, anybody here going to the Columbus show? I know we're currently absent Odie and Cole. So I know we're definitely going. The name of number 2, Doug, is Newminster Superior Round Slices. Chris Kahn, good to see you, buddy. And Chris Weber is looking for recommendations for a tobacco with a good savory flavor on the order of Quiet Nights. I don't know Quiet Nights, so hopefully somebody will chime in. All right, so we got that packed. Oh, the reason I brought up the show, um, on Friday at 3 p.m., there's going to be a slow smoke competition. I don't know anything else about it other than it starts at 3 p.m. Apparently, you register at the show, but the show doesn't start until 5 p.m., so I got to sort this out. But I am going to join. So I don't know. I'm probably going to set the record for fastest out of a slow smoke. At least I know Tim's not going to be there because Tim, you're not going to be there, are you? Because you'd wipe up the floor. Especially if they let you use your rub. That's odd. I'm having difficulty getting this. Where's my temper? The flame doesn't want to go into the tobacco. If this happens at the slow smoke competition, I'm going to be in trouble. Ohio Sweet Muffins Mafia Piper. Good to see you, buddy. And Paul the Piper. Hey, Paul. Oh, man, that doesn't. I'm so sorry, buddy. That sucks. Ahmed Salman. Hello. Good to have you here from Ottawa. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom there, Ahmed. We will definitely uh, keep her in our prayers. Passed away 5 days ago. Wait a minute. Okay, Doug's giving me the inside scoop here. So Newminster round slice is a clone of Stokkebye's bullseye flake. Result of a family feud in the Stokkebye family. Eric was excommunicated by the family and founded Newminster in fourth generation. Well, that's cool. Well, it's not cool that that happened, but it's cool inside information. And Michael Case has gotten the information. It's Burley, Turkish, and Perique. Ah, no Virginia listed. Interesting. Turkish. Huh. If I can get the darn stuff to take a flame, I'll let you know. So far, it's been like asbestos. There we go. You can't listen to me, Papa Bear? Am I that annoying? I have that effect on people sometimes. Lots of prayers going up, Ahmed. We are so sorry about that, and you'll be in my prayers as well, my friend. Michael, I don't know if you swayed me with this, but that Turkish is very prominent. Oh, Gary, sorry about that, buddy. That's hard. I mean, I'm doing that on my way to the show. I'm gonna stop off and see my father-in-law. Oh, is that what the problem is, Phil? It's no, I hate Roger Goodell, indeed, Tim. You know, Gary, you're not that far off with that comment. Doug, I don't know if it's because you set me up for the comparison here, but I'm not getting um, bullseye bullseye flake from this at all. This is very it's dry. Um, I don't mean the blend itself. The moisture content is just about perfect in it, but it's I mean the tobacco itself. But the smoke is it's lacking something. It's a light, dry, kind of airy smoke. It doesn't have depth to it. And what depth is there is entirely the Turkish. I could see this getting harsh, Phil. I could definitely see that happening. Yes, Tim, we will need a whole lot of I hate Roger Goodell when we go to Tuk Toyuk Tuk. How do you do? Aragon Piper, hello. Good to see you, buddy. That's correct, Tim. It is a vapor with a black Cavendish center, and I think that's what's lacking. I don't think I've ever said this ever, but this blend needs some Virginia. It's just a little too. It doesn't have that sweetness that a Virginia brings. Okay, so I got your name, Tim, and I got that place. I just messed up Ant tonight, so I'm getting better. I don't know, Michael. I don't think I've ever had a hookah. It really does screw it up, Doug. And I've had plenty of straight burleys, but there's something about this combination with the Turkish that just doesn't work without the Virginia. I don't call all sodas Coke, and I also don't call them pop, Tim. So we should be okay there. I gotta smoke this all month, huh? Hmm. Well, I gotta take it to the pipe show and share it, right? And if I lose it or something, I can't really control that. No, this is I'm kidding, obviously, but this is not gonna be a favorite of mine. It's even burning weird. No, I don't mean pop there, Flame Hill. I also don't go shopping with and push a buggy around the store. My wife's got all these strange Midwestern terms from growing up in Pittsburgh. Um, one of my favorites is a rubber band. You know what a rubber band is. Everybody knows what a rubber band is, right? She calls them gum bands, and I don't know what that means even. Hold still. Oh, thank you, Phil. But no, no, it's not that bad. I mean, I've done that before. I mean, there's one or two of those Lakelands that I just couldn't do. Uh, but you know what? We'll learn something from this. Maybe we'll learn not to let not to let a vote on a YouTube live stream determine what you're going to smoke for a month. Oh, Paragon, you almost did me in there. Don't do that when I'm drinking, Paragon Piper. You know what, Michael? Pittsburgh is in the Midwest, even though nobody believes it. They're in the Midwest. Couch is finally done with work. Fantastic, Couch. You can still buy Moxie. Yeah, Tim. I had one a couple years ago. Poem is saying I have to find myself in the blend. I don't think there's room to find much in this blend. It's almost like smoking straight Turkish. Oh, the retrohale is rough. Yeah, don't do that at home. Oh, that was rough. Um, yeah, I'm not tasting burley. I'm not tasting Parif. It's just Turkish. Ah, Couch, it's the new tobacco of the month. It is, let me get this straight. Newminster, number 403, Superior Round Slices. Good point, Tim. There is the possibility that the age. This is from 2022, so it's not that old, but yeah, it could be an age thing. Lymphoma, interesting name. I have a custom built Carolier that I believe is made of mountain laurel. Cool. his great uncles and fathers before him. Good recommendation for good pipe repair. Well, the two folks I've been referring people to, and I trust them both. One is Tim West, and his website is jhlow.com. Tim is pretty busy, so the other guy that I've been referring people to is named Jim Finn, and Jim's website is premiumpolishedpipes.com. And Jim actually learned a lot from Tim, so they're both very good. I trust them both. There's other good guys out there too, and I'm sure you're going to get some recommendations from the chat, and I'm sure they'll all be fine. But those are the two that I'm recommending. Washing powder. That's an interesting one, Dave. Smoking Sade, you have a fabulous weekend too, and God bless you, my friend. Take care. But Davenport, I haven't heard that in a long time, Big Dave. Yeah. Ah, I see lymphoma. Well, yeah, I mean that'll leave its mark on you for sure. Well, congratulations on beating that and being here with us tonight. And it's great to have you here. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, but welcome. Yep, Briarville's another good suggestion Patrick's making. And I don't make those recommendations to in any way say that the other folks aren't good. The fact is that most bad pipe repair guys go out of business pretty quickly because word gets around. But those are the two that I know personally, and I know they do good work, so I recommend them. Grocery bag is a poke? Not following, Gary. That's fantastic, lymphoma. Yeah. There are a lot of words like Davenport that don't get used anymore. And some of them, it's funny because they seem like they were these words that you would have to always use. Like, does anybody still use the word vestibule? We always had a vestibule in the house, and I don't think houses have them anymore. Transom is another one. Does anybody even know what a transom is? I actually lived in a house that had transoms. They used to be very common in office buildings. Armchair Piper, how you doing, Ed? Good to see you, buddy. I've seen day beds, Gary, but they've been things that were distinct from couches. People use them as couches, but I've never heard anybody refer to a couch as a day bed. Maybe, I just haven't heard it. Ah, ain't nobody got time for it. Good old Sweet Brown, she did call it pop, yes. Windows above windows, yeah, Tim, and they would open up. We actually had these poles that you could use to open and close them, and it allowed airflow, pre-air conditioning days. Or Chesterfield, really, Chris Kahn. Are you saying there's a documentary on the invention of the shopping cart, Phil? So they have a segment on shopping cart maintenance? Because I really think somebody needs to do something about that. I've heard settee, Patrick, yes. And Chase Lounge, yeah. Well, that's a particular type of couch, yeah. Divan, that's another one, yeah. You have many titles, Couch. Lymphoma's birthday is on Carter Hall Day. How about that? Yeah, I actually had the reminder go off on my phone. I have it set for the first week in August to remind me that August 15th is Carter Hall Day. So we will have to do something for that. We've been talking about you for a long time, Couch. Huh. See, every day is Carter Hall Day for you, huh? No, Carter Hall is interesting because it's one of the few blends where we actually know the day it was first blended. And I've got an old video about this, but it's August 15th, and every year we try to remember that and say everybody smoked Carter Hall, and often I remember, well, often I forget, and Michael Case reminds me 2 days before, and then I'll put a post on Instagram or something. But yeah, it's just nice it's a great American blend. It's still going, and yeah, we know its birthday. Really, Tim, they're still common enough that they make special blinds for the transom. That's interesting. Well, Couch, you were just pre-gaming for Carter Hall Day. Shopping carts, parking meters, and yield signs were all invented in Oklahoma. You know, Ron, that says something about Oklahoma. I'm just not sure what yet. I'll think of it. That was a much bigger Mike mushroom leg. But if I don't stop with this orange creamsicle beer, I'm probably gonna certainly not gonna be fitting into my Ilva shirt anytime soon. That is cool, Tim. Yeah, Big Dave, what is it about grandmothers that they get very concerned about that? That's a good question, Lymphoma. Aren't the mudrooms usually on the back of the house? Because the vestibules are usually the front entryway. Oh, that's cool, Couch. That's that's like 1990s prices there. Okay, so Ed's saying vestibule in the front, mudroom in the back. But I think they served similar purposes, and that the vestibule was a place to sort of close up your umbrella and take off your coat and whatnot. Although I'm guessing back in the day they had a more formal role, and then maybe that's where the help went and closed the door behind them to answer the door so that you couldn't see whether or not the owner of the home was actually there when they were telling you, no, go away, we want nothing to do with you. I'm just making that up, but sounds good, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, not many mud rooms in not much mud in Southern California. Mud rooms are big in Vermont. I know that. Good point, Chris Gunn. Very good point. Old Catholic churches have vestibules. Were they? No. Are they called vestibules? There's another word for them. I'm blanking on the word, Flint Hill, but it's I think there's a different word. It means essentially the same thing, but the church one is much larger than what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about just a small, I mean, it's almost like a closet that you walk through it to come into the house. Narthex. Thank you, Chris. Yes, you would know, right? Narthex is what the entryway to the church is called. Thank you. The lumber room. That's interesting, Michael. I could use a lumber room. Another Aerodale. Wow. Oh, Ilva must be excited about that couch. Tim, I'm sure the naming conventions can be regional as well. Uh, so I'm sure they are called vestibules in some places. I just knew there was a formal name, which Chris points out as narthex. But yeah, narthex is essentially a large vestibule. Speaking of puppies, I almost brought home a puppy the other day. I went to the pet store to pick up some dog food, and I go to this. It's a chain pet store, but it's got like an old pet store feel to it. They actually have dogs and cats and birds and stuff like that in the store, which is a lot of pet stores you go to now are just sort of places that sell pet food. But this one actually had pets in it, and there was this puppy that was just barking like crazy, just like, and it was that mournful puppy, I'm here and nobody cares about me kind of bark. And as I was buying my stuff, I asked the woman at the checkout, I said he's really vocal, and she said, yeah, he's only been here for 2 days now. He hasn't kind of figured things out yet. And so I took the stuff out to the car and I brought the cart back in, and I thought, oh, let me go say hello to the puppy. And it was this cute little black puppy, and I put my hand over the edge of the thing, and it just came up and nuzzled me, and I was petting it. It was just looking at me with those puppy eyes, and I say, oh boy, I'll get in so much trouble if I bring this home. But it was hard to walk out of that store without that puppy dog. They have a way of weaving a spell on you when you look at them. No, that's a lumbar room. That's a different type of room, Paragon. Oh, so Ed, you had vestibules too. Okay. Tim says it was Maine. Yeah, it may just be a regional thing. I don't know. That's a low water table, Ron. Yeah. What was funny about this and the way I got that's how your wife got you, Chris. That's funny. The way I got out of the store unscathed was that as I'm doing this, and the dog is just looking at me like you are my savior, you are, you are a god to me and everything. I'm just melting. And this woman came over to look at cats, mind you, had no interest in the dogs whatsoever. She's got her back turned to us, looking at cats. And this dog just all of a sudden went, "You're not important anymore. That's important." And just dropped away from me and sat there and just stared up at this woman. And I took that as my cue to make my exit. But that's right, couch, an oil spotted Porsche and a puppy. She won't leave me alone again after that. There's some good ones, Phil. Nobody has parlor studies or dens anymore, do they? I think the last time I heard the word parlor used was on the Munsters. That's what my mom used to call it. She'd say, "Go into the parlor and do this," or whatever. I really believe that's true, Paragon Piper. There's something about a dog's love that is, it's that unconditional love that they have that is kind of reminiscent of the love that God has. And I kind of feel like he's it's a gift of, just a little glimpse of that. Oh, I hate that word, Tim. I hate that term, man cave. It just demeans what it means to be a man, right? I mean, we're not cavemen, for goodness sakes. Boudoir. Yeah, I still use that, Phil. I have a boudoir. Oh, that's interesting, Flint Hill. Papa Bear, I'm very fortunately can say no to that. Have we gone over time? Have I completely lost track of time? Yes, we did. It's a good thing I caught that because I'm looking at this thinking, oh, not even, we got plenty of time to go. I I was misreading the clock. Yeah, yeah. Did I mention it's 10%? Den of slack. You got it, couch. Michael, thanks for asking. No, because I will be in Columbus. Good night, Ed. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Have a great weekend. I will be in Columbus. I'm gonna see if maybe somebody wants to, sit around a table and do a quick live stream on Friday night. But Friday night's pretty busy and hectic, and I wouldn't plan on it. And if it does happen, it's only going to be a 15-20 minute thing. Other than that, you will probably not hear from me at all next week. So there will not be a live stream on Friday, despite what the end card says here, because I forgot to change it. And there will not be a Sunday chat next week. But the following Friday, I'll be back and I'll tell you more about this Newminster stuff. By the way, this is getting a little better. It's a little bit more tolerable as the bowl goes on, so that's a good thing. All right, there, Peter. You hope you have a good time with that cake and a great time at the block party. Take care, buddy. We'll talk soon. Okay, Doug, I don't know why this is the first thing that came to mind, but why would you have a saucer of lemon juice on a camping trip? Anyway, it's a horrible story. Almost as bad as the stories about the guys that chew tobacco and use a Coke can to, yeah. Chamber size could definitely do it, but this is a really nice. I didn't tell you what pipe I'm smoking, by the way. This is a Marksman Jumbo. Sorry, in all the excitement about the tobacco of the month, I forgot to bring that up. This is usually a really good burley pipe. Thank you, Peter. Yes, please do hit that like button. It helps get the message out and grow the community. Not grow my channel. I don't care about that. I just care about the YouTube pipe community staying strong and keeping everyone connected. So we're 10 minutes over, and I've still got a lot of this to smoke and this much to drink. Obviously. Well, if you were all drunk, it makes sense, Doug. I think. Obviously, if you've got other things to do, by all means, don't wait for me. But if you'd like to hang out with me to the bitter end, that would be fun too. But we need something to talk about. We're in a lull, and dead air makes me nervous. And of course, I say that, and nobody says, "Ah, there we go." Wait, that I didn't smoke the beer and drink the pipe. That would have been bad, Papa Bear. That would have been bad. I had never done that, so that was knocking on wood. Tell you about these. I'm gonna try to make a bunch more of these to take to Columbus with me, but they're various wood shop tampers. And I'd say this one, I really like this. It's very plain. It's very light colored. This is a maple. This is actually silver maple, which grows like crazy around here. Most people treat them like weeds. And we had a bunch of big branches come down. And I thought, well, what the heck? Let me take one of them and see what you can get out of it. And it actually turns really nicely. And it does not have any grain structure to it. You know, no apparent grain. It obviously has grain structure, but nothing exciting. But it's a really nice, almost reminiscent of holly. And it turned beautifully. So if you're at Columbus and you want a tamper, I'll probably have a few. Magic. Any new pipe maker pipes I'm planning on purchasing next? You know, I'm actually at a point where I just don't need any more pipes, and there's a couple that I'd really like to add, um, but they're really like higher tier ones that I don't know if I really want to spend that much on a pipe. Piper on the 45. Hey, thank you for lurking, buddy. Get off to work, and you have a great weekend too. Adult beverages are allowed, Papa Bear. Problem is they're not freely available. There's a bar, closes early, and it's got a pretty limited supply of beers. Um, so, skeleton finger tamper. Yeah, I actually got a really thin one here that Phil called a chicken bone, which does look a bit like a chicken bone, but I think I'm going to keep that one. I like this style because it gives you a place to put your thumb when you're tamping, and you get to do this with them while you're thinking deep thoughts and smoking your pipe. So, yeah. Jeffrey Feinberg, good night, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it would be a murder of pipes, Jim. Um, you know, she's never said I have too many, and I don't think she would. But it's just getting to the point where, I mean, if I'm going to get more, I probably should get rid of some of the ones that I have. And I find that hard to do because I just get attached to things. Even if I'm not smoking them, I just get attached to them. Joe Skoda, that would be a nice one to have, Patrick, for sure. Actually, Magic, I put these little quotes on the title cards and nobody ever reads them, but I believe last week was a synchronicity thing that I wrote. I don't remember. But yes, I'm quite familiar with synchronicity and Carl Jung. Uh, he made the whole Freudian psychoanalytic world a little bit less hokey. I was almost a psychology major. I'm one credit away from a bachelor's in psychology. I don't know why I feel like telling you that, but I just want to back up my synchronicity knowledge. I love that equation, Flint Hill. I do not have any dowel pipes, no Magic. I agree, Tim. I agree with you on that. The thing about Jung and Freud, for that matter, is that they're intriguing. They are worth thinking about. They're worth understanding, but they're almost certainly not accurate in terms of how human psychology actually works. But they do, I think, provide some grounds for reflection on our own psyche, and I think it's worth going through that process. Synchronicity, that would be an interesting one, Phil. I'm a huge fan of Alan Watts lymphoma. I I think I've heard just about every Alan Watts recording that's been made, and I've read, I think, all of his published works. I could be wrong about that. It's been a while, but yeah, Alan Watts, and kind of like Jung and Freud, Alan Watts was almost certainly not a way to, model your understanding of the universe, but he was thought provoking. And I think the concepts that he played with, and he actually referred to himself as a religious entertainer. He made you think about your place in the universe and what it means to be an individual versus what it means to be part of the greater uh, all. And I think it's worth having those thoughts, not necessarily viewing him as a guide or viewing Jung as a guide, but having those thoughts and accepting or rejecting all or none of them. Probably his most famous quote, Doug. That, or my favorite Freud quote is he was writing to, I believe, the woman who would become his wife. Um, they were separated for whatever, he was traveling on business or whatever, and he wrote to her and he told her that next time he sees her, and this is a quote, I will be like an animal full of cocaine. Cocaine had a very different status back in those days. Dr. David Buss. I know that name, Tim. I'm having trouble placing it. So I'm almost out of beer, and the question is, as opposed to the opiates, did Freud use? I don't know if Freud used opiates, Phil. He might have. I just don't know. I know he was very fond of cocaine. He used it in his practice, but again, it was a different world back then. So I'm almost out of beer, but I got a feeling this pipe is going to go for another 15 hours because I'm enjoying it so much. I wonder if I can smoke superior round slices at the slow smoke competition on Friday, I will win. Um, yeah, Paragon, I wouldn't go that far. Okay, I don't really follow evolutionary psychology, Tim. Um, not for any reason. It's just not something I've followed. Put the Coca-Cola back in the, yeah, yeah. Actually, there's a really funny lawsuit that was filed against Coca-Cola back in the early 1900s, I believe, and it actually led to a federal act that ultimately led to the formation of the Food and Drug Administration. But the lawsuit, they sued Coke not because it had cocaine in it, but because it didn't. And they said that Coca-Cola, and this is a quote from the lawsuit, contains, or the, what do they call it, the charges, or no, that's not right. Whatever the person suing is accusing the suee of, and it was Coca-Cola. In fact, contains little Coke and no cola, or maybe it was little cola and no Coke. So yeah. So we can either continue to talk about psychology and Eastern philosophy, or I can put this pipe out and go to bed. And I think the pipe's going to make the decision for us, which you should all be thankful for. The uncola. You doing the 7-Up guy? Never had it, never will. Is that so, Michael? So that's why they don't call the caffeine-free Coke. It's never called Coca-Cola. Actually, is Coke ever called Coca-Cola anymore? I don't know. I haven't drank this stuff in years. Never had it, never will. Am I right, Phil? The good one, lymphoma. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it anymore, Magic. It's funny because I grew up with that was the drink. You know, you either had milk or soda. Uh, and soda could be Coke, or it might be 7-Up or Sprite or something like that. RC Cola was common as well. Yeah. But now for me I drink water and coffee and alcohol, you know, beer and wine and stuff, but not as much as I drink water and coffee, thankfully, because otherwise I'd be in serious problems. But I just lost the taste for that stuff. Occasionally I'll have a ginger ale. Like if we go out to dinner, sometimes I'll get a ginger ale. Um, and if tonic water counts, I will have gin and tonic sometimes, but that's it. It's funny, Tim, that was one of the sort of dividing lines for us. Like we were a Coke family, and I had friends that were Pepsi families, and it seemed to it seemed to be something that was passed down through generations. Sugar-free bubble up with pizzazz. Okay, Michael. Agua minerale mit Gasafil. Ah, the Andrews sisters, yes. Voma's dad is a Pepsi guy. Yeah, it's funny. And I think I could taste the difference, although now I don't know if I could. Anyway, we have gone almost a full hour, a full half hour over here, which is not good. The YouTube schedulers are going to get mad at me. WC Fields didn't drink water, but I can't quote him as to why he didn't. Yeah, Jim Martini doesn't have soda, so that's good. The way I make it, it doesn't have anything in it but gin, so that's even better. You know, Phil, I always, when I was a kid, I enjoyed the RC. We didn't have it very often at home, but there was a corner store where you could get a bottle of it for, I think it was a quarter. And the cool thing was that when you took the cap off, there was under the cap was a amount. So sometimes it was 5 cents, sometimes it was 20 cents, but occasionally it'd be 25 cents. And if you got 25 cents, then you could get your friend an RC cola too. So I drank a lot of it when I was a kid because, you know, somebody would always have a quarter and there was a chance that if your friend had a quarter, you could both get one. And yeah, it was okay. Yeah, I do put olives in the martinis, and I put a little bit of the olive juice. I like a dirty martini, and I currently have some blue cheese stuffed olives. I also like I've had them with jalapenos. I've had them with onion. But anyway, Michael's got to go feed his fish, and I got to go let my dogs out. And so we will be drawing this to a close. I got at least two drinks here though, so don't rush off. So just to recap, don't buy any Newminster Superior round slices. At least not yet. Let me have a couple days with it, and I will not be telling you anything this Sunday, but hopefully the next Sunday I'll give you some thoughts on this blend. We will not be here next Friday. I apologize for that, but I will be at the pipe show. Maybe I'll do a quick hello. I'm not going to promise anything, so don't plan your day around it for goodness sakes. Um, we'll not be doing anything next Sunday, but we will have something this Sunday. And other than that, I'll see you the week after. And we'll be back here in 2 weeks having a big old time. And maybe I'll make a martini with some blue cheese olives in it. We shall see. So with that, my friends, thank you for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out here to the bitter end. I've really enjoyed the chat. And I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the next 2 weeks. I hope to see some of you at the Columbus show. Not anybody on now, but maybe somebody else will watch later. So I hope to see you there. Take care, and we'll talk again very soon. So, good night, all.